Smashed HackerRank's Sparse Arrays coding challenge. Hello guys, it's your boy Pascal. If you are interested in enhancing your coding skills for a fee or exploring my software development services, I invite you to chat me up on any of the platforms listed in the description below. I look forward to connecting with you. Okay guys, let's read the challenge together. I'm on HackerRank. HackerRank is a platform that provides online coding tests and technical interviews. This is the challenge. There is a collection of input strings and a collection of query strings. For each query string, determine how many times it occurs in the list of input strings. Return an array of the results. Example, string list equals an array containing 3 elements or 3 strings AB, AB and ABC. Now queries is another array that contains 3 strings or 3 elements AB, ABC and BC. There are 2 instances of AB, one of ABC and 0 of BC. For each query, add an element to the return array. Now results array contains 2, 1 and 0. Now this is the function description. This returns inputs. You scroll down, constraints, sample output 1, explanation 1, sample input 2, sample output 2, sample input 3, sample output 3. So if you want to read the full question, you'll see it on this website. The link has been provided in the description below. Okay, let's move to VS Code. We are now on VS Code. We are going to open a folder known as Arrays Challenge. So this folder was created in the very first video that I made on this playlist. So the playlist name is Arrays Challenge, and this playlist is a collection of videos about challenges on arrays. So the very first video that I made, I created the folder known as Arrays Challenge. We are going to open up this folder. Okay, let me open my terminal. Let's move to the document folder. Okay, let's move over to the Arrays Challenge folder. Okay, we are there now, so let's open it up. Okay, this is it. Now let's zoom in. We are going to create a new file. We are going to name it Sparse Arrays solution.js. Okay guys, let's move over to the board. We are going to decompose this problem. We are given string list containing string AB and ABC. Second array query contains, let's see, AB, ABC, BC. AB, ABC, BC. The results array is 2, 1, 0. So we are going to initialize an empty array with variable name results array. So let's replicate that in our code. Let's go to the website. Let's copy this. So we are going to initialize this results array to an empty set. It's an empty array, sorry. Let's go back to the board. Now here the next thing we will do is we are going to insert elements into this empty array, and the element that will be inserting will be empty array. So we are going to insert 3 empty arrays into this very array. So how do you know the number of elements to insert? By counting the number of elements in the queries array. So this array is queries AB, ABC, ABC. The elements are 1, 2, 3. So that's why the results array is containing 3 elements. 1, 2, 3. So what we are going to do here, we are going to insert 3 empty arrays into results array. So let's do that. So we are going to do results array index 0 should be equal to 1. Sorry, should be equal to empty array. Let's copy this. Change this index 0 to 1. Change the 0 to 2. So what this means now is that this array is now of this form. So we are going to replicate that in our VS Code. So how do we do that? We make use of JavaScript methods known as the push method. So results array dot push. I'm going to push an empty array. So the push method inserts elements at the end of an array. Copy this. Paste here as well. Let's go back to the board. So the next thing we do now is, because we have this results array containing 3 empty arrays, we are going to count the number of times AB appeared in this very array string list. So AB appear how many times here? 1, 2. Then ABC appeared how many times? Once. So what we are doing is we are picking each of the elements in the queries array. I will now check how many times they appear in the string list array. So AB, which is the first element, we are going to count 1, 2 times. That's why you have these 2 here. ABC will check how many times? Once. That's why we have this 1 here. BC, how many times? None. It didn't appear at all. So that's why I have this 0 here. So what we'll be doing now is we are going to be inserting these strings inside of what? The inner arrays. array with index 0 should be equal to string list 0. As you can see, the first element here, AB, has index of what? 0. So that's why we're calling it string list with index of 0. Now we also have another one, another AB that appeared. That should be string list index of 1. Close the array. Let's come down. So we come down. Results array index 1 should have. So let's see how many times did ABC appear. Once. So we have this array containing string list. So the index of ABC here is 2, 0, 1, 2. So string list with index of 2. Close the array. Let's move a step down. Now results array its index of 2. As we are checking for BC, how many times did BC appear? No, BC did not appear at all. So this remains an empty array. So now what have we achieved so far? We've achieved that results array is now equal to before we do that, we are going to insert the values. Before we do that. Let's insert the values first. Okay, I will just copy this. Paste. So this string list, this is AB. This is AB. And this is ABC. Okay. So results array is now equal to let me copy this. Copy this. And this. Okay, so this is what we have now as the results array. So let's go and replicate this in our VS Code. We are pushing AB first. The second results array, index of 1, then certain ABC. And we could just do it one by one. Just do it one by one. Push AB first. Push AB, and here we'll push ABC into the empty array. So the first array inside results array, that is the one with index 0, we'll push element AB into it. Again we'll push AB into it. Then for the one with index 1, we'll push ABC into it. But then for the one with index 2, we didn't push any element into it because it is still empty, and because from our board here BC did not appear in the array string list. BC did not appear, so that's why it remains 0. We didn't push any value into that third array, which is this. It is still empty. So the next thing we are going to do now is, let me move this up a bit. The next thing we are going to do is this. We are going to initialize an empty array results, which we know already. So before we start inserting values into it, it has to be initialized as an empty array, which is what I just did. So we come down, this result will be equal to, let's see, so what should be here should be this result with index 1. Copy this, sorry, result with index 0, put it here. So the size of that array, comma, come again, copy this, and this one length, then the other one, we just copy this, paste here, change the index to 2. So this is what we've achieved so far. This is results array with index of 0, the length. So the length of this very array with index of 0. So this results array with index of 0 is another array that is inside of result array, this. So it used to be empty, but now it was populated with elements A, B, A, B. So now what's the length of this array, which is this array? What's the length? 1 2. That's the number of elements here, 1 2. So that's how we got this 2 here. That's how we got the 2 here. So the next thing we do is this array, that is results array with index 1. How many elements are here? 1. So this is the 1 here. That's how we got this one here. Then the last one, the results array with index of 2, is another array inside of results array. The element here is what? 0. So that's how we got this. So let's go to our VS Code and replicate this. So for us to replicate this, we are going to initialize this empty array. So we now push into this results array, results dot push. So we are going to copy this, dot length. Let's copy this. So change this to index 1 and this to index 2. Now you return results. Save. Next, we are going to test this code to see if it is correct. Now we are going to be testing with Jest. We have Jest installed already in our very first video in this playlist. So how do we confirm that we have Jest installed? By opening this file, package.json, you see test, you are testing using Jest. Another way you can check is by, let me open the terminal, by running cat package.json. You see that Jest is installed with the version. You can also run npm list Jest. You also see that Jest is installed with the version, as you can see here. Good. So what we'll do now is we'll create a new test file that we'll call Sparse Arrays solution test.js. Good. So here we are gonna write our test code. Our test should return an array of 3 number elements. Expect match strings. So we'll put our 2 arrays here, string lists and queries, to equal 210. So the elements here are AB, and ABC, and the elements here are AB, ABC, and BC. Let's confirm AB, ABC, and BC. AB, ABC, BC, AB, AB, ABC. Good. Let's see. Ctrl S. We'll now go to our code and export this. Save. And let's run our test. Good. Test passed. Next, we are going to modify this code using a for loop. Now, what is a for loop? A for loop is a control flow statement that allows code to be executed repeatedly based on a specified condition. So now, lines 4, 5, and 6, we are going to modify these lines using a for loop. Now, I'll write these lines as comments, so you know the lines I'm talking about. Lines 4, 5, and 6, we are going to use a for loop to modify it. It's going to be in this form. So 3 is the length of queries array, the length of queries array. So when you look at this, the length of queries array, the number of elements here, 1, 2, 3. So let me just add it here. I'll start with the length of the array string list is 3. Also queries, the size is 3 as well. So that's where we are getting the 3 from. So this is the initialization part of the for loop. This part is the condition, while this part is the update. So here we use our increment operator. That's increment the variable I. Okay, so we've modified this. So what we just did is what you are seeing in the comments, lines 4, 5, and 6. The next, we'll go to this, we'll modify lines 12, 13, and 14. So what are we doing here now? We are just trying to add the elements that we'll get from the string list array. We are trying to push them into the results array, the inner elements of the result array. So how do we do that? Can come inside here. Okay, let me put this miss comments symbol here. In this case, we use J as our variable. less than 3. Now 3 is the length of the array string list. String list, the length of the array here is 3. This string list, the length is 3, so that's why you are seeing the 3 there. So now we are going to write an if statement. We're going to write an if statement. If string list equal to this, results array dot push string list. So what does this mean? This means that as we are looking at the two arrays, remember what we are doing is we are trying to count the number of times that we can be able to see the elements in these queries. Okay, we'll take an element from the first element here in queries, AB. We'll count how many times does it appear here? 2 times. 1, 2. 1, 2. ABC, how many times? Once. BC, none. So that's what we are doing. So from the code you are seeing, what we are saying here is that when we pick an element, particular element, say we pick element AB, we are going to check if it matches any element here in string list. We are now gonna push into what? Into our results array, the inner array of our results array, because now our results array has elements which are also arrays. So what we'll now do is when we pick these elements that match, we'll now insert them into the inner element of the results array. So that's what I just did here. So finally we'll come here. So let me just clean this up. Let me clean this up as well. Now the results, we have these results, this particular one. Let's take it up here. Now we are gonna look at these lines 18, 19 and 20. I'll write them as comments. Now what we are gonna do finally is we are going to push the length of the elements, the number of elements that match, that we've inserted into the inner arrays that are contained in results arrays. So we are going to push them into this new array results, this new array results that have been initialized as an empty array. So what we'll now do is come here. Alright, type results dot push results array, the index of I dot length. Okay, let's clean this up. Okay guys, that is it. So let's save and we'll run a test. test passed, as you can see. Okay, next we are going to test using another sample input. So let's expand our test to see another kind of case, because this example we just tested works only for an array of 3 elements for string lists and another array of 3 elements for queries. So let's see if we have a case where string list has 4 elements and queries has 3 elements. This is sample input 1. Let's see what will happen. So let's copy this. Insert here. Let's clear this. Now copy this, the second array, queries array, paste. Okay, now if you look at these two arrays, you see that what we are doing here is we pick an element from queries array ABA. First string here is ABA, or the first element. You check how many times it appeared here. So let's count. How many times do we have ABA in string list array? 1 and 2. So that means we are going to have 2 here. The first element in this our output array should be what? 2. That's why having 2 there. Let's check the next one. The next one is XZXB. How many times they appear here? Just once. XZXB appear just once in string list array. So that means the second element in our output array should be 1. That's why we're having 1 here. Do again. The last one is AB. How many times did AB appear here? It didn't appear at all. So 0 should be the last element here. 0. That's what we are saying here. The last element in our output array. Okay. So we do something. Try to merge using this. The unit test. We merge them using this. So this. So we are testing matching strings function. Matching strings is the name of our function. I'm gonna cut this and insert inside. Good. Let's save this. Okay, now we can run our tests. what happened. The first test was passed while the second failed. So the reason is this: the elements here are 3. The elements in the first test 3, first array 3 elements, second array 3 elements. So that means our code only takes care of situation where the queries array contains 3 elements and the string list array contains 3 elements. But in this second test case, our string list array is containing 4 elements, which is not taken care of by our code here. So we are gonna still modify the code further to attend to every case with any number of elements for both the string list array and the queries array. Remember, the 3 here represents the length of the queries array, and the 3 here represents the length of string list arrays. So let's move to the whiteboard. Here, see string list dot length, that's the length of this array. String list is what, 3. So that means this 3, we could just remove it from our code and replace it with string list dot length. Let's see. So in our code, this is the length of string list array. So replace it with string list dot length. Again, over to the board. Queries array, the length is also 3. So let's still replace the 3 in our code, the other 3, with queries dot length. So that's this one. We just do this. Okay, now we save. So now that we've saved, this is our test case. We have just 2 test cases. Let's rerun our test and see what happens. Test passed. Very good. See, first test passed, second test passed. Okay, next we'll write this code here on the website. So we'll write the code. After writing the code, we'll run it, then submit and see what happens. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's see. Results array initialize to empty array. Then the second one, results initialize to empty array as well. Our for loop. The first one, okay, I equals 0, queries or length I plus plus. Now, okay, results array dot push. Okay, in this case, results array is having 3 empty arrays. Okay, now the nested for loop. For having string list, the length j. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's run the code and see what happens. Good, very good. Okay, let's submit now. Wow, wow, congratulations. Wow, 9 test cases passed. That's wonderful. Okay guys, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this challenge and I'll save it via VS Code. That's what I'm gonna do. I will screenshot it, now save via VS Code. So the essence is so that people that want to see the question on GitHub, they can access the question or the challenge on GitHub together with the solution and the test. So everything that I'm doing, or the codes that I'm writing on VS Code, they are all linked to a GitHub repository that I've created in the very first video on this playlist, which you can find the link in the description below. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, let me paste here. Good, so let me rename it. Sparse Arrays challenge .png. Okay, very good. Next, we are going to stage these 3 files: sparse arrays challenge.png, sparse arrays solution.js, and sparse arrays solution.test.js. We're going to stage these 3 files, commit them, and push them to our remote repository. Now, as you can see here, we are on the branch main. You can also verify that by running git branch. Good, you can see we are on branch main is here. You can see it here. You can as well see it at this bottom left. Main branch. Good. So now what we'll do now is we stage these 3 files by typing git add sparse arrays challenge.png space sparse arrays solution.js. Let me copy this and space sparse arrays solution.test.js. Good. Let me copy everything. I will use this as my commit message. That's why I'm copying it. Okay, enter. So the files are staged. These 3 files have been staged already. Okay, so what we'll do now is we commit these files by running git commit message, and I will paste what I copied earlier. These are the file names. Okay, now I'll do something. I'll separate them using comma and conjunction. So now comma should be here, png, comma, then I will use a conjunction and okay, good, enter. Now these files have been committed, so the next we push to our remote repository or our git repository so that the changes will be reflected on our repository. So I want these files, these 3 files, to be added to our remote repository so that people can access them on our public remote git repository. Okay, git push origin main, enter. Very good. So these 3 files have been pushed to our git repository. Let's confirm that. We'll move to GitHub. Okay, now see the directory arrays challenge. We'll open it up. You're on GitHub. So now you can see the files have been added successfully. Sparse Arrays challenge.png, Sparse Arrays solution.js, and Sparse Arrays solution.test.js. So these 3 files here, arrays, yes, challenge.png, solution.js, and test.js, these ones were the ones that we are added on the very first video that we did on this playlist. So we added these files, and that was the very time that we created this very directory or this public repository. So but in this case now we added these 3 files for this very challenge, so you can access any of them here in my GitHub account. In the description below you will find links to the public repository housing the codes. The first video in this playlist, the HackerRank challenge I just solved, and my GitHub account. I would greatly appreciate it if you could follow me on GitHub and on all the other platforms listed in the description below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing it. Subscribing to my YouTube channel will also help you stay updated with my latest content. Don't forget to turn on all notifications so you never miss an update. For those watching on platforms other than YouTube, your support means a lot. Please like, share, comment, and follow me there as well. Thank you so much for your support. I remain your boy, Pascal.